And 15 is not located in Piccadilly or Mayfair or Kensington, one of the nicer areas. This is located in East London in an area that's rough, with a lot of poverty and a lot of violence issues. And what he did with this restaurant is hired people from the neighborhood, one, to give them jobs, two, to train them in the restaurant field for a one-year opportunity, and then will set them free to go out and work in other restaurants, actually across the country and around the world. Some of the chefs that came out of this neighborhood now are in some really fine restaurants around the world. But this is a for-profit restaurant. But for this particular restaurant, all of the profits he gives to his foundation, which helps put forward his agenda as far as helping you to eat more nutritional food. All right, I know we have a couple of gentlemen here from Bangkok. I had dinner with them last night, and this is a restaurant that is I have eaten at, and it's called Cabbages and Condoms. An unusual name of a restaurant, but I think what they're trying to accomplish in this is raise money for the Population and Community Development Association to really help put forth the notion of family planning. This organization and this restaurant now has worldwide acclaim. Oftentimes when I'm talking to people in the United States, they know of it. Some have been there. And it has actually received a very prestigious award from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Melbourne, Australia, Charcoal Lane. This restaurant is part of an association called the Australian Mission, or Mission Australia, I got that backwards, to help the Aboriginal people. And the person who's in the photo there, Kylie Bates, I know is someone that Debbie knows from IAVI, but she runs the Mission Australia for Melbourne. And Charcoal Lane works with Aboriginal people who have come out of poverty, oftentimes will have alcohol and drug issues and other challenges, provide jobs, training, but there's actually a certification program for the hospitality industry that is tied to it. So not only do you complete your time there and have a great learning experience and a job, that you actually come away with a certificate that you can utilize moving forward in your career. This is in my hometown of Los Angeles. Homegirl Cafe is a restaurant and catering business that is, again, this is primarily taking women out of gangs in Los Angeles, and the whole program, though, is to pull them out of gangs and give them a safe haven so that they aren't, attracted to go back in, but then also provide job and skill training along the way. This also was started by a Catholic priest, again, trying to help people get out of this cycle of gang membership. This is a bakery in Washington, D.C., and in the chocoholic. And you're actually going to hear from a fair trade expert later on in our program. But again, I think this is another interesting model when you look at some of the issues that are facing many countries today, whether it's wage disparity, income inequality issues, issues that are faced on labor standards, working conditions. Fair trade is certainly a way to, and this chocolate is certified fair trade, that it meets certain standards. And again, you'll be hearing about that later on in the conference. And of course, we have to wash it down with something to be in all of these meals. This is a for-profit business. So SAB Miller, which is a global beverage company, established this beer in Mozambique, in Africa, and they're very upfront. This is a for-profit business, but what they were also very aware of with their corporate social responsibility, that when they were establishing this and how they were establishing it, they were looking at who are the farmers, who are the providers of what we need to manufacture and produce the beer, and looking from a labor perspective of creating sustainable employment for people as well. So again, they say, this is a for-profit, but they did it with an eye towards, social value creation as well. So Impala beer. I'm going to give you some examples. Some of you might be familiar with the Four Lenses strategic framework. If not, I highly, highly recommend this. It's a very thick report, but it will give you a lot of really great examples. So I'm going to, just brush over some of them on the top, just to expose your minds to it. So when you're in the workshops and you're brainstorming with your peers who are here with us today, that you might have some thoughts and ideas that you did not have before. And also, I believe these slides will be uploaded, so you'll have an opportunity afterwards if you can't read the URL at the bottom. But I just wanted to give them credit because I did pull a lot of information from them. So in my opening comments, we talked about breaking down those barriers and those silos. And I think that's what is so important. Somebody who comes out of the business world and has been part of that business world for a long time, I certainly developed preconceived notions of what a business does and what an NPO does and what government does and what individuals do. But yet, I think we have a new opportunity to clear our minds and look at things from a blank sheet of paper and how do we need to create structures and programs that make sense and are going to be effective versus doing them from the lens that we were taught to learn. And so this really creates these models that are hybrids. They're part business. They're part social. And it creates different ways of thinking about ownership models. And ownership in the broadest sense, I'm not talking about a corporation necessarily with shareholders, but it could be organizations that have membership or with a lot of the for-profit social enterprises and how there's a profit share into it. Income and capitalization strategies. How are we if the models are different. And the exciting thing is, I bet if we were to all come back together in this room 5 years from now, there would be a lot of models that we haven't even thought of yet. And hopefully some of you in this room will have thought of those models, and they will be replicated in different locations around the world. Because we really have this rich mosaic of designs and creativity. And again, it's releasing that creativity that's within all of us to come up with something that is new to address problems. Now, that doesn't mean that there are old models that don't work. So I do want to point that out because, especially in the business world, I've been a part of things that, sometimes, you have new leadership come in and they want to make it their own and they think the old models don't work when they really do. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't work, let's find something new. Or even if it does work, we can always make things better. But that's where this whole creativity, and what I love of the metaphor of a mosaic is